Alani hasn't found it in herself to talk to Sherry yet. Instead, she finds herself in a secluded part of the park that bends into the nearby woods. The trees seem to judge her on how far she's come in her training. She doesn't know why, but she feels as though every time she looks beyond the trees and branches, there should be someone looking back at her. It doesn't feel like a dangerous kind of glare. It reminds her of how her mother would peek into her room when she had gotten too quiet, as though to make sure she hasn't gone up to any mischief. Alani decides it would be another day of training until lunch. But today, that feeling from the woods is hard to ignore. It constantly makes her think back to how life was before all of this. Before the fallout with Sherry, before the slime monster, before the loop. She realizes it hasn't been all that great. She thinks back further to a time when her family was still whole. She wouldn't say it was perfect, but she didn't realize there were so many cracks in her family unit then. She didn't mean to overhear them, but something had been gnawing at her with how her mother had acted towards her father during dinner that night. Alani snuck out of her room and eavesdropped on the conversation. What she heard destroyed her. It absolutely devastated her. Her mother wanted a divorce. She had admitted that she felt like she had wasted her youth raising a family. Alani knew she wasn't planned, but she had no idea her mother resented having her so much. She doesn't believe either of her parents knew she overheard the conversation, and she's kept it to herself ever since. Morbid curiosity would overtake her for the next few months. She would always try listening in as her father desperately tried to convince her mother to stay, claiming that he understood that their family started way earlier than either of them planned. He tried to get his wife to at least agree that their kids were happy accidents, but nothing he said could sway his wife's decision. He asked if she could at least wait until Alani's graduation, seeing how it was her last year. Her mother sighed and relented, but something in Alani just grew angrier. What about Samson? What about his graduations? He was only in elementary. Alani held back as long as she could, but one day, seeing her mother give her dad the cold shoulder, she walked up to her, looked her mother straight in the eyes, and told her she knew and that she didn't want her at her graduation. Alani told her mother having her there would ruin it because she knew how she really felt. And while it wasn't fair to Samson, Alani believed it would be for the best if her mother just went ahead and left. Her parents were in shock. She didn't stay in the house to talk to them, choosing to flee to Sherry's. She stayed over there for a long while. Her mother and father got into one final argument before her mother called it quits and packed up to go all the way across town back to her parents. Alani hasn't seen or talked to her mother since. When she returned, she apologized for what she had done to her dad. She knew he was trying to hold the marriage together, and she felt like she just tore it apart right in front of him. He, in turn, apologized to her for being selfish and trying to hold his marriage together when he was the only one who wanted it. Her dad didn't know how to tell Samson, but it turned out the poor little guy had heard some of their arguments too. Enough that he had pieced together that his mom wanted to leave. He was afraid if he brought it up, his mom really would leave, so he didn't say anything. Alani finds herself sitting in the grass. It's soft, full of small flowers. The breeze is flowing through the trees, between the strands of her hair, cooled on her skin by the beads of sweat that had formed from her training. She clutches her book of spells in her hands before bringing it to her chest and holding it tightly. She holds back a sob, and then another one, until her breathing becomes so ragged she can't breathe without crying. She doesn't know if she's crying because she was thinking of the past, because she's tired from her training, and doesn't feel like she's getting anywhere, because of the whole damn predicament she finds herself in. Everything feels so exhausting. She doesn't feel like eating anymore. She makes herself get up from the grass, wipes her tears away, and decides to sneak back into her house. She doesn't know why she sneaks in. Her dad's at work. But she does anyway. She goes up to the side of the house, climbing the trellises that her mom's now dead vines used to cling to. They would go right up to her window. During the spring, she could smell the flowers that grew on them. It was a calming scent. They were so quick to die when Mom moved out. Alani remembered her saying they were sensitive. They were the kind of plants that could pick up on changes, on moods. Her mother believed in some way plants felt just as strongly as humans. So perhaps, when their only caretaker left, they couldn't handle the heartache and withered away. Alani finds herself in her parents' room. She can see the town from their window. Most of the neighborhood is on their side of the house. She starts crying again, unsure if it is because she still refers to this room as her parents, or because the decor in the neighborhood reminds her it is still Halloween.